Thailand's stance on the Russian invasion. There's a new travel bubble with India, and there's a new normal as well. That's all coming up on today's Good Morning Thailand. Hello and welcome to Good Morning Thailand, sponsored by Twin Palms Residences Montezor and Coffee Culture, presented by Tim Newton and Jay.
Hello.
I thought that was a very good opening.
You're looking very swish in your glasses today. Are they special glasses?
Yes.
Over the weekend.
Wait, what do you mean by special glasses? As in, like, do they have a purpose?
Do they? They're what? They're
Yes, they help me see better.
I was actually doing just flipping through social media on the weekend, and sometimes you just get into a stream of a particular topic. Things keep on coming up for no particular reason, and there were these glasses. I think they're called, and I'm sure people will tell me when I'm wrong. They always do. Enchroma, I think they're called.
Okay.
And for people who are colourblind, I've got a couple of colourblind friends. These quite expensive glasses, when they put them on, it allows them to see colours.
Yes.
And so there's lots of these videos of them putting them on for the first time, and they're very emotional response to seeing colours the way that we do. And their friends have always got balloons and things there, or they're standing in front of an autumn tree or something like that. So apropos of absolutely nothing, there you are with your special glasses.
They do actually help me see things clearer and see colour more brighter.
Oh, actually, does it affect... do you have a colour blindness?
I didn't think I did, but maybe I do.
Okay.
Well, we need to get Jason one, as he's an editor, and I think it's quite important for an editor to see colour.
He's definitely colourblind.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I'd like to tell you at the start, you can skip this part and go directly to the story you want. We do have timestamps right after the show. As for now, we've got a couple of topics to talk about today, and we're going to start with Russia. Now,
Russia, yes, okay,
yes. Yeah.
I've forgotten about Russia.
Now, in main, the question I want to ask and answer is, what effects does the Russian invasion have on Thailand?
Now, people might think we're being a little bit parochial by focusing on that, but as we said yesterday, there's a lot of very, very good and thorough coverage on what's happening in Ukraine at the moment.
Live coverage, live updates.
And people streaming from their own phones. I mean, there is just an unbelievable amount of what is sort of being talked as the TikTok crisis, as in so many people are using social media to cover this particular topic. And so, I mean, our focus is obviously Thailand. So a lot of what we're doing with analysis is trying to at least try some local Thai perspective.
Yes. Now, Russians are unlikely to spend much on travel at such a time, especially coming to Thailand. It's a very difficult time just mainly looking at tourists coming to Thailand, because Thailand last month, Russians were the number one tourists in Thailand. We had approximately 17,599 travelers, ranking number one tourists coming to Thailand were Russians.
Now, I'm checking the arrival flights in Phuket as we speak. There used to be about 4 or 5 planes from Russia each day.
Yep.
I'm just going through this. In fact, when I was coming back on Monday, an Aeroflot flight arrived, but it looks like that flight has not arrived the last 2 days at least. And just checking through, there was one flight from, here it is, cancelled. So the one flight that was coming to Thailand today from Russia has been cancelled. It was Ural Airlines flying from this location, this well-known location, Jay.
Irkutsk.
Very good.
Thank you.
Do you actually know that place?
No.
It's like far-flung Siberia, but that flight's been cancelled as well. Oh, here we go. They are flying Ural Airlines from Vladivostok today, but that flight is 67 minutes late. That's the only flight coming in today into Thailand.
But with the sanctions on the country, the currency taking a hit, some banks have got SWIFT taken away from them. I mean, this is another blow. No, I mean, to Thailand in a way, because they're losing their number one ranked travelers like.
We were the most popular travellers
Yeah.
in February.
Yes, in general, too, Russians are normally top 5 or top 3. It's
Yeah.
and the second, I think, in second place is UK, and third is US.
So the problem for Thai tourism czars is that they've got the double problem now that they're two of their leading feeder markets
Yes.
for travellers, China and Russia, the tap's been turned off. So this leads into another topic I know you're going to cover a bit later, which is about a travel bubble that's
right.
been organised. But I think the elephant in the room today is the announcement that the Thai Prime Minister made yesterday.
That's right.
And
We
yeah.
will get to that in just a moment. However, I just wanted to have a quick look on, in terms of exports, Thailand isn't hugely disturbed. In Russia and Ukraine, respectively, only amount to 0.36% and 0.05% of exporting outside of Thailand to these countries.
I think cars were one thing that was quite.
Yes.
A lot of Thai-built cars were heading into Russia.
Yeah, and in general, when the invasion, on the first day of the invasion, the stock exchange of Thailand did drop to 1.99%, but it recovered the next day back 1.03% and is slowly climbing back up again.
And that pretty much happened around the world. There was an initial shock, and then things are slowly improving on stocks around the world again.
That's right, but the traditional gold, Tim,
Yeah,
rose heavily. Quite
And the same
heavily.
thing's happened with Bitcoin, also seen as a diverse stock market proof investment.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it doesn't have its own problems, but Bitcoin initially had a big crash, and then it's slowly been building up ever since. Carmel.
Okay, there are two questions. One is from John, asking if the Russian bank cards will work in Thailand.
Oh, I don't know. I think there are, obviously, and we probably need to try and track some down. There would be a lot of Russian people who came to Thailand, all those people that we
Yeah, all those
mentioned arriving.
travellers, yeah.
So some of those will still be here, and it looks like there's a paucity of flights to get back to their home country.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned that there's that flight from Vladivostok coming in today. Is it going to be returning? Will it be allowed to return? Because these... the situation is very, very fluid, and sanctions and problems with some of these airlines which rent their planes. I understand that a couple of 777 aircraft that were leased to Aeroflot have been basically, they've sort of been told to give the planes back. So there's a whole lot of little problems sneaking in for the Russians, and yeah, there is an impact on Thailand, but of course, that's a very small problem compared to the problems faced by the Ukraine people.
Well, the question for the last couple of days at least has been, what is Thailand's stance on this invasion? And I felt like we got a very Thai response, which was the Prime Minister, Kun Prayut Chan-o-cha, has insisted that Thailand will maintain its neutrality in the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Yeah.
Do you think this was a response that people were expecting? But I expected it because Thailand normally doesn't really
take sides?
Yeah.
He's pretty much towing the line as far as ASEAN is concerned. ASEAN calling for peaceful resolution, calling for talks and negotiations, and they're not really taking sides. So that's been the official ASEAN stance, and it looks like the Prime Minister is pretty much reflecting that.
That's right. And in yesterday's meeting, I'd like it to be known that 25 ambassadors from different countries did actually pressure the government to speak out against Russian invasion of Ukraine. However, the only statement that they made is that Thailand is going to remain neutral. And a government spokesperson and source also went forward to say that speaking for the Prime Minister, he said that we need to be composed and make decisions carefully. Thailand must maintain a neutral stance and bring ties in Ukraine back home quickly. Thailand would adhere to ASEAN's stance on the conflict between Russia and Ukraine
Well, there
as
you
the
go.
group
That's it, isn't it?
has called for dialogue.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they're sticking with the ASEAN line, which is pretty much do nothing.
Yes.
ASEAN traditionally have been pretty much a do nothing organisation, even with Myanmar, which is one of their members is in ASEAN. Myanmar is in ASEAN, and they've done very, very little to quell that particular problem.
Yeah.
They appointed an envoy. I think they waited for 3 months to actually get invited to the country. That invitation was revoked. So ASEAN, even in their own backyard, can't seem to do much in the way of negotiation or getting peace. So I don't think they should be expected to do anything useful in regards to Russia and Ukraine. Having said that, of course, it's a different part of the world anyway.
Yes, and lastly, I'd just like to end with this final quote from the government post talking about the Prime Minister said, "The long-standing relations between Thailand and Russia must be taken into account and Thailand must tread carefully."
Okay, well, that's from the Prime Minister, so at least he has made a comment about it. He hasn't up to date, but he has now. Carmel.
Yes, this is from the chairman. If inbound flights from Russia are now being cancelled, how are the Russian tourists that are here expected to get home?
Well, that's what we're wondering. Very big. So at the moment, there's that one flight coming in from Ural Airlines. I don't know what sort of equipment they're using, whether it's a smaller plane or a larger plane. But yeah, there would be, I expect some thousands of Russian people caught in Thailand at the moment. I expect probably half of them in Phuket and half spread around the rest of Thailand. So they must be wondering how on earth they're going to get back. And they're right. Can they use their bank cards to get their dwindling ruble out of machines? It's a horrible situation for them. So there is going to be, I'm sure, in coming weeks, some stories emerging in Thailand of Russian people caught here and in a horrible situation. Same with people from Ukraine. There would be fewer Ukrainian tourists, but they'd be suffering the same situation. And we've noted in protests in both Bangkok and Phuket that Ukrainian and Russian people have been protesting together about the invasion in Ukraine, which is good to see.
All right, we'll move on to our next topic, which is regarding the new normal in Thailand.
The new normal, okay.
Now, I feel like this is some positive news in terms of now Thailand is moving strongly towards moving from a pandemic to an endemic. They've now started to open facilities starting this month, adhering to people with mild symptoms, mostly with Omicron. They believe 90% plus of the cases are Omicron, and therefore they've opened isolation facilities for these people to take care of them and basically to deal with them. Now, outpatient under self-isolation service, that is what they call it, and under this service, basically patients will come in, they'll get prescription drugs depending on their condition, they'll transfer them between the facilities and where they need to be, and you just get a one-time follow-up call within 48 hours, and that's it. You stay at home for 7 days. And that's how they're dealing with COVID. No more forced staying in isolation centers or in hospitals. And all you have to do is an ATK test, 2 ATK test while you're staying at home for 7 days. So basically, they're promoting self-isolation. No more forcing or taking people and putting them in hospitals or isolation centers and government facilities and hospitals.
And this is locals as well as foreigners?
They have not mentioned foreigners. They have not mentioned foreigners.
I've
but
got
the
a funny
locals
feeling
for
they're
sure.
still going to be throwing the foreigners into a 10-day quarantine.
Yes.
But I can't confirm that, but I'm just reading between the lines, or the lack of information, the fact that they haven't mentioned the treatment for foreigners. But as far as locals are concerned, that's a very sensible response to the ongoing pandemic situation and where we are with the pandemic and Omicron in 2022.
I've got a comment here from Dr. Gia Tipum, who is the Health Ministry Permanent Secretary, and he said the lack of information in previous stages of the pandemic made it necessary for those infected to be hospitalized. But authorities have since adapted to the changed environment under the previous prevalent Delta and now dominant Omicron. We need people to change their mindset when it comes to the right medical treatment for COVID-19 as an endemic disease.
So, interesting situation. Num, can we just go to that first graphic I sent you, which is the current infections? At the moment, today, we had 22,197 infections in Thailand. And as you can see on the graph, the numbers have been sort of spiking up. If you also have a look, there was that flat line. There was that month where the cases just was sitting between, 15... So let's just check here. Between sort of 7,000 and 8,000. Just for a week after week, it was just hovering. I was calling it a flatline. And now we've seen a sudden increase with Omicron infections reaching up to that 22. Now, there were some doctors saying that they're expecting it to go up to 100,000. Just looking at those figures currently, I don't see that graph reaching that height. But I'm not a virologist, and the person who made that comment was. But if we go to the second graph, Norm, this is the deaths. You can also see there is a slow rise in the number of deaths, and we're up to 45 deaths today for the coronavirus. So we're certainly not out of this yet, but people would be saying, I'm sure, that 45 deaths is something we shouldn't be worried about. But if you're one of those 45 people or one of their family or friends, you would certainly be worried. And so the situation in parts of Asia is mysteriously quite different from what's happening in, say, Europe or the United States, where the Omicron cases went up and came down very, very quickly. In Asia, they're going up more slowly and taking longer to peak, and we're still in a situation where we haven't peaked in Thailand. The rather odd situation, which we report in Asia News. Why are you looking at yourself?
No, I opened something by mistake. I apologize.
Just checking your hair. So a rather strange situation in Hong Kong, where the hospitals are completely overwhelmed at the moment, and they're worried about the high number of deaths. So Omicron is, like a lot of other parts of the COVID-19 story, is not behaving the same in Asia that it was behaving in other parts of the world. So, in Thailand, we're still in a situation where we've got this slow rise, and it is very distracting, I know. And then the number of deaths also going up in Thailand at the moment, as we can see from those charts. But clearly, and it's quite obvious from the statistics, that the numbers of cases, of serious cases, are much lower with Omicron. That's acknowledged. But still, 45 people dying today is something that we should be concerned about.
It's now time to take a quick break. Once we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about a travel bubble between Thailand and India,
What's Nan's story today?
Nan's, yes, 2 Minutes Thailand. It's about a place you can visit once you're in Thailand, and I know for sure you don't know about this place. It's it's education and entertainment. It's a museum.
Okay.
But a very modern museum.
All right.
So you can find that out after the break. And welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Thailand with Tim Newton and Jay.
And thanks to Coffee Culture.
That's right, Coffee Culture and Twin Palms Montezuma. You can buy beautiful coffee and enjoy it while you're living in Twin Palms residences.
Okay, nice segue. There you go.
I mean, think about it. You're sitting in paradise. What coffee are you drinking? Coffee Culture. It's a given.
It is a given.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for 2 Minutes Thailand. Now, this is a segment we've recently started where Nan, one of our presenters, is going to, teach you different aspects about Thailand and different cultures. But today, she's actually going to suggest you a place you can visit in Thailand. It's pretty cool. Check it out. It is a museum called Ratanakosin.
If you have any plan to visit Thailand, especially Bangkok, I highly recommend this place. It's my personal favorite. This place is a museum in Bangkok called Ratanakosin Exhibition Hall. This Crown Property Bureau renovated and decorated the original building to become a learning center, and the building is filled with historical knowledge, information, arts, and culture of Ratanakosin era. Inside the building is an exhibition of the Ratanakosin era presented with modern technology, models, virtual 4-dimensional mixed media, and animated cartoons. Visitors can tour around by themselves with an audio guide or with a tour officer provided in each of the 9 exhibition rooms. On the fourth floor of the building, there is the beautiful viewpoint overlooking the surroundings of Loha Prasad, Mental Castle of Wat Rajnada, and the Golden Mount of Wat Sake through clear glassed walls. The easiest way to go to this museum is by the MRT Blue Line at Samyot Station, and it only takes 15 minutes by foot from the station or about 5 minutes by taxi. There is no dual pricing here. Both Thais and non-Thais pay 100 baht, while children under 120 centimeters pays only 15 baht, and it is free for students, Buddhist monks, and novices, senior citizens, and the disabled. If you want to spend some relaxing time learning about Thai history, then don't forget to check out this place.
Welcome back and stay tuned.
Well, 100 baht to get in. There are some great museums in Bangkok, and that's obviously a bit of a peer at the Old World Thailand.
That's right, and no dual prices at Ratanakosin Exhibition Hall.
Love
Check
it.
out. Check
No
it out if you're
dual
into it.
pricing.
You get to learn the history of Thailand for anyone who is interested.
We're against dual pricing here at the Tiger.
Yes.
Generally, that's the situation when tourists or foreigners are paying a different price from locals to get into things. Some people, it's a very contentious issue, but yeah, we definitely don't like the idea of dual pricing.
All right.
Thanks, Nan. It was
Yes,
good.
Carmel's got a comment.
Yes, more like a question. It's about the COVID. So from Friday Feeling, the question was maybe the reason why death rates are up is because most people have the virus now. Are people actually dying from COVID or with COVID? There's a big difference.
Well, there's no difference. They're dying. I understand a lot of people like to separate the reason people are dying from COVID or with COVID. The situation is if you die and you have been diagnosed with COVID, then you're registered as a COVID patient. So that's the way that people actually are registered. So there's no differentiation in Thailand with COVID or from COVID, but if you die and that you have actually had a COVID test and you are positive, then you are called a COVID patient, if you like. So that's the answer. It doesn't actually, and that's been consistent all the way through for the last 2 years in Thailand. So these numbers we see, you may call into their accuracy, but they show a consistent trend up or down. And all we're doing is passing on the official numbers and indicating the trends. But as we keep on saying, yes, there is a lot more people infected at the moment with COVID in Thailand. 90%, as you said, Jay, from the Omicron variant, but the death rate at the moment and hospitalisations is much lower here in Thailand. And as we said, the situation much different in Hong Kong. So the situation with Omicron still very lumpy around the world, and if you'd like to think that we're out of this, all you need to go is to something like the Worldometers or the Johns Hopkins University stats. Have a look at the world numbers. It's still happening. Even though in your part of the world you may have your mask off, your life may have returned back to what you may call normal. But in other parts of the world, that's not currently the situation, including here in Thailand.
Our next story, Tim, is
Yes.
regarding Tang Mo.
Ah.
Now, this is a quick update because we don't have a lot of information released yet by the police. However, this is an update regarding a studio Natty first spoke about on Monday, and we spoke a little bit about it yesterday. This is a news that is being dominated in the Thai media regarding an actress who drowned after falling off a speedboat while she was with a couple of friends.
Whose name is Tang Mo,
Tang Mo.
which means watermelon.
Yes.
Very
well
popular
done.
name.
I'm proud that I'm surprised that you know that. But yes, her name is Anita Tangmo Pachara Virapong.
So a lot of conjecture, a lot of speculation over this case.
Yes.
And the more people know, the more they're confused about the facts that have been trotted out by the other people on the boat that she fell off.
Yes, and it's a tiny boat, and she went to the back. Allegedly, she was trying to urinate, according to the people that were on the boat, which included a couple of people. She fell over, she drowned, her body couldn't be found.
There's been numerous recreations,
Yes.
some of them sadly, a little bit on the humorous side.
In
trying
Thai media, journalists and not researchers, but basically journalists have gone out and reenacted the scene to show people what actually happened. I mean, this news is absolutely dominating Thai media. It's everywhere.
And they're showing basically how difficult it would have been for her to be at the back of this very small boat trying to pee.
Yes. As well as the clothes that she was wearing. She was wearing a bodysuit. It wouldn't be possible. She had a
It's like a
jacket on.
swimsuit.
Yeah. And so yesterday's news, Jet spoke about this situation in Thailand news today, and he said that the police were going to use lie detectors to basically interview the suspects or the people that were on the boat. No news on the lie detectors. However, Police Lieutenant General Kun Jirapat Humjit said that the police are not convinced by statements given by the 5 people on the speedboat regarding Dengmo's falling overboard to her death.
Yeah, a whole lot of questions still surround this, and we're still
Yes.
waiting for a final autopsy.
The cause of death currently is still drowning.
Yeah.
But to determine what actually caused her fall into the river, whether it was herself or someone else, will take time.
Now, we actually had a quick discussion this morning, what we would have done if we were on the boat.
Yes.
And you were sort of thinking that there is some official procedure that should be for when somebody falls off a boat,
That's
what
right.
should happen.
Yes.
And none of us could actually think about any specific name of the procedure, although things like first aid and
Yep.
boat safety, I mean, a whole lot of different things would cover the actions.
Actually, Carmel sent me something. She said lifeguard training and certification, which I actually have.
Yeah, so somebody falls off the boat, what's your first response?
Now, I apologize if I'm wrong because I did this training about 15 years ago.
Okay, but what would you do first?
I would try to throw them a life jacket or a buoy. Buoy. How do you say it? Buoy.
Buoy.
Buoy, yeah.
Americans say buoy.
Yeah, every boat has those safety buoys and life jackets. So
Somebody-
you just...
Sorry? Yeah, Americans say buoy. Yes.
Anyways.
Buoy, yeah.
But anyways, you throw them a life jacket and...
Or
yeah.
the ring. Just throw that up, because every boat's got one of those.
You don't know how tired they are. You don't know their state of mind. They might be frantic. If you jump in and try to save them, they might likely just drown you with them, because they're too scared. So
Well, if they were going under,
Try to calm them down.
I'd just be straight in the water to pluck them out and give them a...
what if you get tired holding them up?
Well, then, hopefully then at that stage, the boat's turned around, other people are aware of the situation, they would have found some life jackets, they would have found the life buoys, there would be opportunities. But the first thing to do is, if that person's disappearing under the water, is to fish them back up on top.
That was another strange thing regarding the case, because as soon as she fell in the water, she just immediately sunk.
Well, again, that's just speculation.
Yeah.
People, that's...
But that's what's being said.
said, yes. Again, we weren't there. There
We
were
weren't.
5
We
people
were
who
definitely
were.
not there.
It was in the dark of night, and there's a lot that we don't know about this case.
Anyways, we will keep you updated.
It
as-
is the talk of the town in Thailand,
Yes.
though, for sure.
Yes. As always, you can find the latest information on thetiger.com. Our last topic today is finally regarding the travel bubble. Now, Thailand and India, we love each other. We all love Indian people. Indian people love Thai people. Thailand loves India. India loves Thailand. We've now created a travel bubble.
Now, the travel bubbles have been talked about around the world ever since the start of COVID. And Thailand's been talking about travel bubbles all along. This is the first travel bubble
Yeah.
that I know has actually happened.
And the first travel bubble that Thailand succeeded in having. Starts this month.
The odd thing, though, about the announcement is that it's very scant on information.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you still have to have a Thailand pass? Do you have to be fully vaccinated? None of those questions have been answered.
Well, what they've said is that to take part in the travel bubble, you need to have a valid visa to enter the country. But like
You have to have
we
a
know-
valid visa to enter a country anyway.
Of course, but what they mean by that is, to get a valid visa in Thailand, if you want to enter, is through the Thailand pass. So I think it goes without saying that you need the Thailand pass.
I wish they would have made that clear in the article. So all they've said is there is a travel bubble from this month from India to Thailand.
Yes.
That's about all they said.
Yeah, and they said that the airlines must make sure all the passengers meet the requirement for entry before issuing boarding passes to the passengers. So I guess they get to the airport, they show the relevant documents. Here's my Thailand pass.
And
I've
off
been
you go.
approved, you know.
So then the questions remain. If you do have to have a Thailand pass for an Indian person to travel to Thailand, how is that any different from any other country coming to Thailand at the moment? So I would like to know some more information about this.
Details.
Yes, because
Specifics.
if the Indian people have to apply for a Thailand pass, or if Thai people travelling to India have to go through the same processes as people coming from any other country, then I'd say, what's the use of having the travel? Why call it a travel bubble?
Because it makes you feel better.
It's
Makes you
perhaps-
feel warmer.
This is different from the
There must be
vaccinated.
something. There must be something.
Malaysia and Singapore have got these things called vaccinated travel lanes, which are sort of like travel bubbles between different countries. And Malaysia is currently going through a process of trying to establish these VTLs with some of its neighbours, plus Australia and New Zealand and South Korea from memory. So most of the ASEAN countries. But yeah, everybody in Southeast Asia is struggling to try and get their borders open at the moment, some quicker than others. Philippines and Cambodia, for example. Vietnam sort of dragging its feet a bit.
Do you know who else is free, Tim?
Who else is free?
Mexico.
Mexico. Yes, you can go to Mexico.
Never forget.
There's
Or-
just this ongoing travel bubble with Mexico, with everywhere in the world, apparently.
Well, I'm hoping that this travel bubble between India, you know, is at least it's cheaper than a Thailand pass. Otherwise, it literally would make no sense. But we're yet to find more details on that. We're just speculating as of right now. But a travel bubble has been established, so that is some news. Kamal, you've got a question.
It's a comment from Nicholas, and he said that travel bubbles are political bull.
Oh,
A bull.
Like
yes.
BS.
BS.
Yeah.
I see.
Bullshit, in other words.
Ah, okay.
So, okay, yeah, I get that. And, you know, some well-meaning diplomats, they get together and say, oh, let's have a travel bubble. And so they... But it's not really a travel bubble unless it's limited to the people in India and Thailand. Now,
Yeah,
as
because something needs to be special. Like, okay, we
Yeah.
don't have to pay for the PCR test. We get it for free.
or you don't have to apply for a Thailand pass. If that is such, then it's a true travel bubble between the two countries with reciprocal arrival arrangements. Great, but they haven't announced any of that. So I looked in 3 different news sources and none of them had any additional information. So it's a bit of a furphy at the moment until we get some more information. Because if there are no requirements to go to India for entry and coming back to Thailand from India, then I'd go to India and visit for a couple of weeks and come back to Thailand if I didn't have to go through the Thailand pass and the PCR test and the SHA hotel. That's my thinking.
All right.
But I don't know. And neither does anybody else.
And those are the topics we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break. Once we come back from the break, we're going to answer some of your questions regarding any of the topics we've spoken about today. Or you can just ask us a question to Tim, to me, to Carmel.
Are you going to
as
address
she
the survey?
filters them out. Not today.
Oh, okay.
We will during this week, though.
All right, there you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Find the coffee roast you love most. Coffee Culture delivers Thai coffee online. Whole beans or pre-ground delivered to your doorstep in Thailand. Go to coffeeculture.asia and get coffee you love delivered to your doorstep.
Welcome back. It's Good Morning Thailand. You're watching with Tim and Jay.
Do you still
And
like my new look today? The T-shirt underneath?
I saw
and,
what you did there.
Is it, no?
It's a lot more hip. I don't know about the color combo, but the styling is there.
It's drained any colour out of my face, I think.
It's a good style.
Thank you,
it's new.
Carmel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Carmel
understands.
approves.
I take Carmel's word much more than you when it comes to fashion.
Why? Right, Carmel, questions.
Okay, first question. PG Santa asked if you guys can confirm whether the currency conversation booths are actually refusing to accept Russian rubles.
I don't know. That could be interesting. We could go up to one of those
Yeah, we can do a
exchange
test
booths
today. We can do-
and say, hey, we've got some Russian ruble. Will you give us Thai baht?
She'll be like, show me, and we'll be like, yeah, I don't actually have it on me.
They'd be saying, okay, here's some, and they'd be rushing down to exchange it immediately. The thing is, if the banks aren't exchanging it, then the booths won't be, because
Yes.
they'd be rushing down to the banks to get their cash. Don't know, but good question, PG Santa. Thank you.
Witty comment from Hans. Replace the plant with one of those cats with the motorized arm, the one that just moves.
What are we replacing?
Henrietta?
Henrietta.
Sorry, I was distracted
With
by
one of
reading the
those
question.
cats, with
The
Oh, the one with
motorized
the
arm.
claw. Like, the Chinese good luck one, is
the
it?
craw.
I guess so, yeah.
With, did you watch that clip I sent you?
I unfortunately have not. I will watch it
Okay.
today.
Good. Somebody in the messages noted that, Tim, I remember the crawl. So they're of my vintage, watching Get Smart back in the 1960s.
I see. I see.
From West Texas, Greg.
Why have we got the same people every day making comments?
Oh, I'm sorry. Shall I choose another person?
Well, in West Texas, Greg, we're delighted.
Well, he's a
that-
member. we give member priorities.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he's just talking about Tengmo's situation. Like, the
Yes.
whole situation is really wrong. Like, how could the boat drivers and others not stay there and search until help arrives?
Yeah,
They just
I
went.
agree. A lot of questions need to be answered, but at the moment we don't have any answers. But they're going to be re-questioning them apparently with lie detectors. There's all sorts of other things that they're going to be checking, but at the moment there is a lack of solid evidence and a lot of hearsay.
Okay, next one from PT Tan. A travel bubble that attracts the Indians to Thailand. Do Thais like to visit India?
Oh,
A
yes.
monodirectional bubble, I guess.
No. Yes. Yes.
No, yes.
No. Yes. Thai people like to travel to India.
What's the attraction?
I'll tell you why.
Food, culture.
Yes. Okay, let me tell you a story. I didn't realize that, they find out something and everyone wants to go to that place kind of thing.
Right.
So, I don't know, a couple of years ago, India suddenly became popular. But I'm talking about places like, they want to go to like Ladakh. Exactly. Do you know where Ladakh is?
South of North
It's-
Ladakh.
No. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But they want to go to like these crazy unique places to have these, to take pictures, and obviously they want to go to like
Taj Mahal.
places in the north near Taj Mahal, Varanasi, all these places
Right.
to have that unique experience. And the first thing people always ask me is they're scared for their safety. But, especially women, because
Right.
India does, especially the rapes in Delhi and stuff, they had really bad coverage and cases
Sure.
for that, which made people think that, yes, that problem does exist in India, of course, but people were like, will I be safe just walking in the streets during the day? Is it like is it late night Johannesburg or something? It's like,
Right.
no, we're not there. But there is a sudden love for India recently in Thailand. People do want to visit. People do want to travel. Do they necessarily want to travel now after the pandemic? I don't know. But pre-pandemic, there was a craze for everyone to go to
Japan,
India.
they love going to Japan. They
Yes.
love South Korea.
Yeah.
So they're three countries that I know Thais love.
For the first time in my life, I felt like being Indian was extremely cool, because once people found out I was Indian, they'd be like, tell me more. I want to travel to this place. Is that a thing? And I was like, that was the first time I'd ever experienced it. I was like, you want to travel to India? That's strange, because I never got that from Thai people before.
It's not on the high on the list of countries I want to go to, but because I live in a country, within 3 or 4 hours flight, I'd be crazy not to go and visit there. I'm slightly attracted because of two movies, The Most Exotic Marigold Hotel,
Okay.
and the second Most Exotic Marigold Hotel, the follow-up movie
You just
to the
love
first
Dame
one.
Judi
Jane-
Dame Judi Dench.
Judi Dench and I thought they were two great films, and I think they highlighted a lot of the colour and some of the culture of India, and certainly enticed me to go there.
You could go to Goa.
I go to Goa. That's a beach
Yeah.
on the west side down south.
Yeah, but often people say that going to Goa is not like going to India. It's kind of a whole new world in its own place.
Yeah, and look, India is a huge place, and I'm sure going to different parts of India, you'd strike some entirely different cultures. And you've got Sri Lanka just off the south coast there, which is also very popular for people travelling from Thailand, because it's quite easy to get to.
All right.
Okay.
What was the question? I forgot the question.
Do Thai people
Yes,
Love
they
to
do.
go to
They
India.
like
I
India.
think it's going to be, but I do think it's going to be one way. I think Indian people love coming to Thailand way more than Thai people love going to India.
Okay.
Okay, so
then
the
again-
next comment is from David Moore. It was when you guys were discussing about what to do when someone's drowning, and he said reach, throw, then go. I'm not sure reach for what, but I'm assuming throwing the life jacket or
Throw the boy,
the
the
boy.
life boy.
Yeah.
Then go. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's a bit like when you're taught to be a pilot. I've got a pilot's license. It's something navigate. I can't remember. Been a while since I've been flying.
I don't think that license is valid anymore.
The three things you see: communicates last. You fly the plane. You navigate. Then
There we
you
go.
communicate.
You once told me that, if there is ever a movie scenario where the air hostess comes out and says, "Is there a pilot on board?" you're going to put your hand up. Yeah, you're going to go there and you're going to be like, "What was it? The 3 C's, navigate, what?" And they're going to be like, "Is there anyone else on the plane who can fly the plane?"
I've actually contemplated, I've dreamed about it, of actually getting
Having your moment.
a 737 down by myself. I think with my pilot training, I'd be able to do it, and I've done it on Sims, so I sort of know roughly the buttons.
Sims the game or actual simulator?
No, the actual Sims the game.
Oh, okay.
I have done a 737 simulator, but I didn't get to land the plane. They just let you fly it around for a while.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I hope like hell I'm never actually put in that situation. But if the hostess did turn up, I would be able to say, well, I've got a pilot's license. Not that I've flown one of these, but
Valid in 1960s.
I'll get. No, I'd give it a red hot shot. If you muck it up, you can go back and do it again, can't you?
You were what, flying in the 80s, 90s?
I owned a plane in the 1990s. Yes.
That sounds so good. I owned a plane once.
Yeah.
Fancy bee. All right.
When I was rich in a former life, a long, long, long time ago.
From Scott Shallcross, why does Thailand need submarines? Now I know you didn't talk about it today, but
Why
I
does
just thought of
Thailand need
asking it.
submarines?
Sunbury?
Submarines.
Oh, submarine. Well, this is a hilarious story today that Natty covers in Thailand News Update, where the opposition, the leader of the opposition, the Pheu Thai party, has come out and said, well, we've just learnt that they're going to be sending the first Chinese submarine that Thailand's bought next year. However, it won't be coming with an engine. So it's one of those submarines that doesn't have an engine.
Oh.
I think you'd call it a brick.
Yeah, it's going to be in a museum. It's going to be a cafe.
Because the German suppliers of the marine diesels or whatever they are that power these things, they said they won't supply the engine because China's going to be sending it to a third-party country. So a little bit of paperwork needs to be sorted out there for China to be sending a submarine without an engine.
I don't
think
know.
is a major omission.
There's something about submarines that just... No, I don't know. I'm scared of submarines. Have you ever watched the movie Das Boot?
Yes, I have. And The Hunt for Red October are two great
The
submarine
creeks.
movies.
It's the creeks that
Sure,
get
the
to you.
creeks. But I think I would be much happier in a submarine with an engine than without it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Unless you're just, parked by the shore.
That's
could-
not the idea of a submarine. The idea of a submarine is to be able to go
Wait, don't say that
underwater.
to me. Say that to the Thai government.
There was another really good submarine themed series on TV, which I think was called Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, which I used to love watching. But I really can't remember much about it. Richard Basehart, I think, was the star of that. Gee, I'm really digging back into my memory now.
All right.
Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, I think it was called.
He's going to... All right. It's time.
It was
It's
black
time.
and white.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to end the show
It
for
was a
today.
dark and stormy night.
And I'd like to take this moment to thank everyone for watching the show so far. Please click the like button. 433 people watching, 82 likes. We'd really appreciate it if you liked the episode to click the like button, as well as subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. As for now, I'd like to say thank you, Tim.
Don't forget our paintings. If you'd like to order one of these signed, then it's even got Jay's signature on it. You just put an X. That's about all we can manage. But,
X marks the spot.
they are available with our other merchandise, like our mugs and our shirts and stuff, at our Tiger shop, thetiger.com/shop. If you are overseas, send an email to the Tiger shop and they'll talk to you about getting your stuff sent overseas, which unfortunately at the moment is a little bit on the expensive side.
All right. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Carmel, behind the scenes.
Yes.
Thank you, viewer.
Thank you, viewer. Thank you, Num. And we hope you have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.